Welcome everyone to our 30-minute flow. My name is Taylor and I will be guiding you through this practice today. So just come into a comfortable seat, find a nice long spine. If you like, you can sit onto a block or a bolster, maybe a blanket, whatever you have around your house. Find a nice long spine and close your eyes. We're going to start to tap into the natural rhythm of the breath. So without trying to alter or change the breath, just notice the natural rise and fall of the belly on the inhale and the exhale. Tapping into how we're feeling in this moment. And then we'll start to add some length to the breath. So lengthening the inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale. Send your breath down deep into your belly. And work to keep with this 4 count inhale and 4 count exhale for our practice today. We'll start to softly flutter the eyelids open. Take a few moments to roll the shoulders down the back. We're going to get right into it, just removing that block or bolster to the side. And you're going to come into your tabletop position. So you'll bring your hands right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips. Fingertips are spread nice and wide. As you exhale, untuck your toes, draw your belly button up towards your spine, round through your shoulders to come into your cat. As you inhale, you're going to tuck your toes, drop your belly, and take your gaze up to the sky for cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale. Inhale. One last time, exhale. And inhale. As you exhale, come through a neutral spine. From here, you're going to start to walk your hands forward. Keep your hips stacked right over your knees, and then lower your heart, coming down into your puppy pose. You can rest one cheek on your mat or your chin, maybe even your forehead if that feels best for you. Breathe nice and deep into your belly. If you're on your cheek, then just switch sides. And then we're going to come back into tabletop, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. And as you exhale, you're going to extend your right leg long behind you, flex your foot, point your baby toe down to the mat. Then as you inhale, reach that left arm forward. Now engage your core, draw your belly button up into your spine. Keep your hips as level as you possibly can. Left thumb is reaching towards the sky, and then create some length between your right heel and the left fingertips. Hold it here. And then with the next exhale, left hand will come down to the mat. Release your right knee down to the mat. We'll switch sides. Left leg will come long behind you. Flex your foot, point your baby toe to the mat. And then inhale, reach that right arm forward. Again, lengthening the space between the heel and the fingertip. Core is engaged. With the next exhale, right hand down to the mat, followed by the knee. From here, you're going to tuck your toes, start to hover your knees just 2 inches off the mat, holding here. Round through your shoulders. Shoulders right over your wrist for 3, 4, 2. On 1, lift your sit bones up and back. We're coming into our first downward facing dog. Now as you come into downward facing dog, you can start to walk your dog out by pedaling the heels into the mat. Bend one knee and then the other. Just walking it out. Warm it up. Lift your sit bones nice and high to the sky. Core is engaged, fingertips spread wide. Back to stillness. You can keep your feet hip distance apart if that feels good. And you can also keep a slight bend in the knees. From here, we're going to start to walk the feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat. Come into a forward fold. Relax the head. Allow the head to hang heavy. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. Lengthen the heart forward, coming into a halfway. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift, hip, come into a flat back. Exhale, release. 1 last time, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're going to reach the arms all the way up to the sky. And then as you exhale, hinge from your hip and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hinge from the hip, fold it forward. 1 last time, inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, we reach arms all the way to the sky. Option this time to take a tiny back bend at the top. Then as you exhale, hinge from the hip, fold forward. As you inhale, take a halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. We're going to step right back into a high plank. Modification, if you need at any point, you can release down onto your knees. Shoulders are right over your wrists, holding here for 3, 4, 2. On 1, lift your sit bones up and back, downward facing dog. On your inhale, come high on your toes, bend your knees, walk or step your feet to meet your hands. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms will reach all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hinge from the hip, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, step back to the top of your push-up. Again, you can take this from your toes or lower down to your knees. We're going to release the belly all the way to the mat in 3, 2, and 1. Untuck your toes. Roll shoulders down the back as you inhale, lift up from your heart. Baby cobra. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, lift up from the heart. Exhale, release. 1 last time. Inhale. And exhale. From here, send the bottom back to the heels. Come into a child's pose. Now you might want to bring your knees out about mat distance apart. And then sit your bottom back to your heels. You can also keep your knees together. Release your heart down towards the mat. If you'd like, you can rest your forehead on a block or on the mat. From here, you're going to float up into your tabletop position. Bring the hands right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. On the inhale, the right arm will reach to the sky. On the exhale, we thread the right arm underneath the left, bringing that right shoulder down to the mat. Left fingertips come to the mat, roll the left shoulder back. And from here, unthread that right arm, reach the right arm back up to the sky, and then as you exhale, right hand comes down to the mat. On the inhale, the left arm will reach to the sky. And on the exhale, the left arm will thread underneath the right. Keep lifting up through your left hip so that your left hip is in line with your right. Right fingertips come to your mat and roll your right shoulder back. We'll unthread that left arm, reach the left arm up to the sky, and then as you exhale, release the left hand down to the mat. From here, we're going to tuck the toes, lift the sit bones up and back, downward facing dog. On the inhale, that right leg will reach to the sky. On your exhale, softly step your right foot to meet your right thumb into a runner's lunge. If it doesn't get there the first time, you can use that right hand to pop that right foot forward. Now hold here for just 1 moment. Sink your hips nice and low into your runner's lunge. You're high on your back toe, and then as you exhale, the left knee will come down to the mat. To start, you're going to take your hands to your right thigh. So you can interlace your fingers and then press your palms down into that right thigh. From here, feel extra length coming in between your tailbone and the crown of your head. So you're using your palms to press down into your thigh to lengthen the space between the tail and the crown. Now you have the option to hold here. Sink your hips nice and low. If you want to come deeper, arms will reach up to the sky. Hold it here. If you'd like to come deeper, right hand will come to the left forearm. Lift the left arm up and exhale over to the right. On the inhale, we come back through center. Exhale, release the hands to the mat. You're going to tuck your back toe, lift your left knee up off the mat. Holding here for one breath. And then as you inhale, you're going to root to rise, come into a high lunge. Good. Bend nice and deep into your front thigh. Holding here. If you'd like to come deeper, you can bring your right hand to the back of the left thigh. Lift that left arm up and back. Hold it. Good. With your exhale, we windmill the hands down to the mat. Now from here, you're going to step back into a plank. Top of a push-up. Core is nice and strong. As you inhale, shift your shoulders 1 inch forward. As you exhale, lower from high to low push-up. Inhale for cobra or full up dog. And then exhale over the toes for down dog. On your next inhale, that left leg will reach to the sky. On your exhale, softly step that left foot through to meet the thumb. Remember, you can use the left hand to help that left leg forward. Hold it here. As you exhale, right knee will come down to the mat. Untuck the back toe. Hands are coming to that left thigh. Now sink the hips nice and low. Squeeze the inner thighs together so you're guiding the left hip back. Wrap the right hip forward, and then you want to create that extra space and length between the tailbone and the crown. You have the option to hold here or reach the arms up. And then again, option to hold or take the left hand to the right forearm, reach that right arm up and over. With the exhale, the hands are coming down to the mat. Framing the left foot, you're going to tuck your right toe, power up through your right leg, and then root to rise. High crescent lunge. Bend nice and deep into that front thigh. You can bend the back knee a little bit to help you guide that right hip forward. Just make sure your hips are pointing towards the top edge of your mat. If you did so on the other side, we're going to take the left hand to the back of the right thigh and reach that right arm up and back. As we exhale, we'll windmill the hands down to the mat. Plant the hands, step back to our plank. Inhale, shift the shoulders forward. Exhale, high to low push-up, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or full up dog. Exhale, over toes for down dog. Beautiful. From here, bend into your knees. Walk or step your feet to meet your hands. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, we reach the arms all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, you're going to sink the weight back into the heels. We're coming into our chair. Now you have a few options here. You can bring your big toes to touch with a 1 inch space between your heels. You can take your feet hip distance. Hands can be reaching toward the sky or heart center. Hold it for 3, for 2. On 1, hinge from your hip, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release the hands to the mat. We step back to our plank. Now from here, the left hand is going to come into the middle of the mat. You're going to rotate onto the knife edge of the right foot, reach the right arm to the sky. Modification. You can come down onto that left knee, reach the right arm up to the sky from there. If it's too much on your wrist, you can also take this from your left forearm. Good. Using your core to keep you up. And then with your next exhale, right hand will come down to the mat. Hold it in your plank. And then take that vinyasa flow, high to low push up. Inhale for cobra or full up dog. Exhale, over toes for down dog. On the inhale, we'll reach the right leg to the sky. On the exhale, step the right foot to meet the right thumb. Runner's lunge. Now you have the option to drop that back knee if you need a modification. If not, you're going to stay here. Root to rise. Coming back to that high lunge. Now with your exhale, the hands are going to come through heart center. You hinge forward from your hip. The left elbow will come to the outside of the right thigh. So you're coming into a revolved crescent lunge. Guide your right shoulder back, and then press your left tricep into the outside of your right thigh. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head. Holding here for 3, for 2. On 1, you're going to softly step that left foot to meet the right to come into a twisted chair for 3, for 2. Inhale through center on 1. Exhale, fold forward. Now this time, I invite you to take your feet hip distance apart. Take a compassionate bend into your knees, and softly rock side to side. Come back to stillness, release the hands. As you inhale, take a halfway lift to the flat back. Exhale, release. You're going to plant the hands, step back to your plank. Now this time, right hand comes to mat. You rotate onto the knife edge of your right foot. Left arm will reach up to the sky. Taking your variation of side plank. Remember, you have that modification if you need, or you can come down onto your forearm for 3, for 2. On 1, left hand comes down to the mat, and we take that vinyasa flow. On the inhale, the left leg will reach to the sky. On the exhale, left foot will come through to meet the left thumb. Runner's lunge. Option to lower the right knee or stay high on the back toe. We root to rise. As we did on the other side, you're going to bring the hands through heart center. Start to hinge forward from the hip, this time right elbow to outside left thigh. Finding the revolved crescent lunge. Squeeze those inner thighs together. And then on your next inhale, softly step your right foot to meet your left. Coming into that twisted chair. Sink the weight back into the heels for 3, for 2. Inhale through center on 1. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Once again, heel to those feet hip distance. Take opposite elbow, softly rock it up. Good. From here, release the hands. You'll slowly roll it up the spine. Roll the shoulders down the back and give your body a good little shake. And we're going to come to face the long side of the mat. Bring your feet out nice and wide. We are going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So as wide as you're comfortable, as wide as, we're not coming into a straddle split, but maybe a little bit wider than you think. So as you bring your feet nice and wide, hands are going to come to the hips. You can keep a slight bend into your knees, and then we're going to hinge forward from the hip. Good. Now you can keep your hands on your hips. You can also release the hands down to the mat. Relax the back of the neck. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release. From here, point the left toes towards the top edge of your mat. You're going to windmill your arms up and around as we come into warrior two. So we want a nice deep bend into that front thigh. Press through the outer edge of your right foot. Your shoulders are stacked right over your hips. Your core is engaged. And your gaze is over your front middle finger. With your next exhale, you're going to push into your right foot. Straighten out your right leg. Reach your left leg. You're going to straighten that left arm up and back. Then as you exhale, keep the left leg straight. Send the hips back. Reach the arms forward. Once you can't reach any further, you can tilt into your triangle. Now you may want to use a block underneath your left hand. Avoid placing any weight into the left leg, and then guide the left hip back to create a little bit more space between the left hip and the left armpit. On the inhale, we reach that left arm up and back. Front leg is straight. And then as you exhale, bend nice and deep into the front thigh. We come back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten out that left leg. Pivot the front foot to be parallel with the front edge of the mat. Point your right foot towards the back edge of your mat, and then bend nice and deep into that right knee. So just coming right to the other side for warrior two. Shoulders are over your hips. Nice deep bend into the front thigh. Right knee is pointing right over that middle toe. So just make sure your right knee is not collapsing inwards. With your next exhale, we press into the right foot. Straighten out the right leg, reach the right arm up and back. See how much space you can open into the right side of your body. And then as you exhale, we're going to keep sending the hips back. Reach that right arm. And once you can't reach any further, we'll tilt into our triangle. Think about squeezing your heels, your inner thighs together. On the inhale, we reach that right arm up and back. And then as you exhale, bend nice and deep into the right thigh. Good. Holding here. Inhale, hold. As you exhale, straighten out the right leg. You're going to bring your feet in. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit so your feet are still wider than hip distance. Your heels are in on a 45-degree angle. From here, you're going to sit down into a goddess squat. Now from here, you can keep your hands on your hips. You can bring them to heart center, or you can bring your arms into cactus. Nice and low. If you'd like to come deeper, come high on your toes. Hold it here. As you inhale, keep your heels lifted and straighten out your legs. As you exhale, bend a little bit deeper. Inhale to straight. Exhale to bend. Inhale to straight. Exhale to bend. Hold it here with your heels lifted for 3, 4, 2. On 1, release your heels. Give your body a nice little shake. Good work. All right. Come to face towards the top edge of your mat. And we're going to come down to sit onto our bottoms. I think my mat has moved. All right. So from here, we're going to come into Navasana boat. So you have the option to keep your feet on your mat. We're going to reach the arms forward. If you'd like to come further, you're going to bring your shins parallel to your mat. Either point or flex your feet. If you'd like to come further, the legs are straight. I'm going to go with this one today. Lifting up through your heart. Lengthen through your fingertips. Holding here. Now from here, you're going to take your right palm down, left palm up, open and close your fists as fast as you possibly can. And then switch, right palm up, left palm down. Open and close, holding here. Keep your heart lifted. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your hands to heart center, feeling the energy that you've created in between your palms. And then exhale, just release it down. We're going to slowly, mindfully peel the spine down onto the mat. Good. Your knees are bent. Your feet are flat on the mat. From here, I want you to make sure you can touch your heels with your middle finger. Your knees will line up with your hips. You're going to tuck your tailbone. Lift your hips up to the sky. If you'd like, you can also walk your shoulders underneath your back, interlace your fingers, and press your pinky fingers into the mat. With your exhale, slowly peel the spine down. Hold in stillness. All right, we're going to take one more cycle of bridge. If you have a deeper back bend, such as wheel, that you'd like to come into, you're going to use this time to take wheel. On your next inhale, tuck your tailbone, lift your hips. Walk shoulders underneath the back. Interlace your fingers and press your pinky fingers into the mat. As you exhale, slowly release. I know you want to pull your knees into your chest, but just allow your spine to be neutral for a moment. Breathe nice and deep into your belly. Now make your feet about hip distance apart and just start to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Stay with your deep belly breath. And then from here, we're going to come into a figure four stretch. So your right ankle will come to your left thigh. You can either hold here and press your right leg away with your right hand. If you want to come deeper, thread the arms through the legs and take the back of the left thigh. Just make sure you're feeling this in your right hip. Send some intention into your right foot so you can flex that right foot. And then we'll just softly release. Bring both feet down to the mat, and we'll come right to the other side. So left ankle to right thigh, flex the left foot. We'll thread the arms through the legs, take the back of the thigh. And again, if this is too much, you can use that left hand to press the left leg away. And softly release. From here, we're going to come into a spinal twist. So draw the knees into the chest. Your arms can come into cactus, or you can extend them straight, depending on how much room you have. From here, you're going to let the knees fall over to the left. Take your gaze to the right. Now you want your right shoulder to press down into your mat. You can take your left hand to your right thigh if that feels good. And then just try to keep your knees stacked. So right knee stacked right on top of the left. And we'll inhale the knees through center. Then as you exhale, bring the knees over to the right. Left shoulder is going to press down into the mat. And if you'd like, you can bring your right hand to the left thigh. On the next inhale, we'll draw those knees through center. You're going to bring the hands in between the legs, take the hands to the outer edges of the feet, and press into your happy baby. Now you can also bring your hands to the back of your ankles or even to the backs of your thighs, depending on what your body is allowing today. If you'd like, you can rock from side to side. And then with one big exhale, just release your heels together, followed by your knees. Allow your arms and your legs to come into your final resting pose. To come into Shavasana. Let go of any control you may have over your breath. And allow your body to surrender to the weight of gravity. Now, if you have time to stay here longer, you're more than welcome to. Stay in Shavasana as long as you can. If you're ready, just make your way over to your right side to come into a fetal position and then press up through the left hand. And we'll just meet in seated. Bring the hands through heart center and bow the head to the heart. I'd like to thank you for joining me, for sharing your practice today, for allowing me to guide you. Namaste.